Hello, I am so glad you're here. I'm John Keefe, and I'm looking forward to working with you over the next few weeks to improve your data visualization and analysis skills. We're going to dive right into the data, the dog data, right now, and take a look and see what we have in that file so we make sure we understand the columns and the values that are there. If you haven't already done so, make sure you go download the file that we're going to be using for the entire class. That's at bit.ly/dog-data-2018. Whenever you're presented with a new data set, you want to make sure you understand what you're looking at. If you don't, it's like you're interviewing somebody and you don't understand what they're saying. So make sure to take some time to explore the data, find out what you can learn about that data. In our case, this is the Open Data Portal where I got the data set that you downloaded. And here it has a description about what we're looking at. So I'm going to click on More here, and I can see a little bit about it. Let's look at it. So what we're exploring is this data set from the fact that all dog owners residing in New York City are required by law to license their dogs. So this is the data from the dog licensing system. It's importantly here, this next sentence down here says, each record represents a unique dog license that was active during the year. So this is important because if there's a dog license that's active in 2018, and there's a dog license that's active in 2019, that would be counted twice, which is why you actually only have the data set from 2018. I've already filtered that out for you, so you're only looking at the 2018 year active records. And that it turns out to be the last complete record set that's online. It's a few years old, but we're still going to play with it. Next, you can look at this sentence, that even in the year that we're looking at, so even in 2018, it says not necessarily a unique record per dog, since a license that is renewed during the year results in a separate record in the active license period. So that means that even in our 2018 data, we probably have some duplicate dogs. Anybody who renewed their license in 2018 actually has two records in this data set. So that's something we're going to need to know and make sure that we think about that in our analysis, and also maybe even caveat that when we present this to our audience. So all really, really good to know. And the other thing that I would just say about this paragraph is that, going back to the first sentence, all dog owners are required by law to license their dogs. Does that mean that they all do? Good question. I asked Google what percentage of dogs are licensed in New York City, and the answer turns out to be 20%. So 1/5 of the dogs in New York City are licensed. That means 4/5 are not. They're running around without a license. But this is important because if we are going to say something like, we know definitively how many dogs of a certain name or breed are in the city, we're going to be lying because they're not all registered, and we're only looking at registered dogs. So it's good to know all of this, right? You'd want to make sure to be clear about that in your analysis and in how you describe this data when you present it to your audience. Okay, so those are the caveats that we have. Let's go back and look more at this data. Just scrolling down, you can see how many times it was downloaded. Okay, that's interesting. And here, this is important. Columns in the data set. So we have row number. That's just the number of the row in the record. We have animal name. That's the user provided dog name. Animal gender, male or female. Animal birth month, the month and year the dog was born. The breed name. The borough, so New York is divided into 5 boroughs. So it's whichever borough in New York City the owner lives in. The zip code, that's the zip code of the owner. And then we have the issue date and the expiration date, and then this extract year. This is this is the year that I filtered on, so all of our rows are going to say 2018 because I've already filtered this data to be just that year. Okay, so we have a good understanding of the data set, and we also understand some of the caveats. Remember, if you don't know what a column means, you really need to find out. It could be something really important. It could mean, there could be values in there that mean this row is a duplicate, or the value in this row is actually a credit and not a debit. Something really key like that is really important to know. And if you can't figure out what's in those columns, try to research or ask somebody who may have been involved in preparing that data. That's usually the best way to go, and they can walk you through that. Okay, next up, we're going to load this data into a Google spreadsheet, and so we can start to do our analysis.